What's up, my people? Welcome back to another episode of the Divine Guide with your favorite host, me, Goddess L Divine. Today, I am here with the marvelous Shayna Maude. She is my soul sister, okay, one of my closest friends, and is a big inspiration to my plant based journey and so many other things. So, I want to start off with just introducing you guys. Shayna Maude is a dedicated plant based mom of two, passionate about health and wellness, certified in plant based nutrition through eCornell University. Shayna has been educating others about gut health since 2019 through various forums, including conferences and online workshops. She is also an advocate for natural childbirth and perinatal nutrition, and she performs weekly sound baths with her family. Shayna actively shares her knowledge on her website, BodySoulVibration.com, where she offers insight on living a plant-based lifestyle as a working mom. So, welcome, Shayna.
Thank
Very
you. Thank you
happy to
so
have
much. I'm
you.
so happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you, girl. So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey into the plant-based lifestyle?
Yes. So, to make it short, because I am in my 30s, so there's a lot of experience that I have lived through. So, to keep it brief, I am a native of New York, born and raised, and but I've lived all over the United States. I've lived all over the place. So, I've touched the hands and souls of many types of people, and I'm able to like adapt in situations regardless of what the situation is. Anyways, so my plant-based journey started in 2019, and to back up from that, prior to that, I so although I may have seemed healthy on the outside, right, my
Mhm,
insides were like rotting, basically. Not rotting because I don't want to speak that, but this is also the past, but it wasn't functioning at its optimal. And I know that based off of, certain allergies I had and just certain reactions and responses my body would endure from certain environments.
mhm.
So, I personally didn't know why. I kind of just like thought that's just how it was, and didn't really think twice or think three times for it. So like medicines weren't working for me. At one point I was just like I'm just thug it out. Like the allergy medicines weren't working. I know like back in high school, I prior to even being sexually active or anything, I had certain pH imbalances. Like vaginal pH imbalances and things like that. My periods, when I first started having my menstrual cycle, I was a little older. I think I was like 10th grade, at the beginning of 10th grade, I believe, is
Mm.
when it first came. So like 14, 15. And it was horrible. Like I was throwing up every time. It was irregular. It was just a hot mess. So at that point, the doctors recommended that I get on birth control. And
Mhm.
back then, we didn't know much about
That was an
the
often remedy for that
exactly. It was
situation. Yeah.
often the remedy. If you want to regulate your period and make sure you're not throwing up, get on this pill, and you'll
Mhm.
literally know when your cycle is coming because it was so irregular. It would like, it may come for like 20 days and then it won't come for like 2 months. And it was very
Mhm.
irregular. But looking back at
Mhm.
it now, it's because my body was so unbalanced and what was going on from all lifestyle, from eating
Mhm.
habits, lifestyle. I was not eating like all the plants and the fruit and vegetables that I eat today. Like I'm like really I'm trying to think back to like different like meals and stuff. Like my mom may have cooked the string beans, but did I eat it? You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
like I was eating the chicken and the steaks and like all the other things, and I wasn't really paying attention to, eating the plants, which makes sense because I wasn't in that mindset of even thinking about that.
Right.
I was like, yeah, I'm an athlete, I'm healthy, I'm good. I've always been small, but that's a genetic thing. So like I said, just because you may look healthy doesn't mean your body is in balance. And my
Right.
body was definitely not in balance. And you could tell based off of how the responses were due to those certain, different times of my life. So fast forward, I started the pill, prior to even being sexually active. I started the pill, and I hated it. Like, I hated having to be on a schedule, and
Yeah.
like I'm just like I'm such a free, like, not always, but I like to flow, and I'm like, "Ugh, I have to take this at the same time every day. It made my
Hmm.
body feel crazy. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
I did it for the first few years somewhat consistently. Sometimes I may miss a day or two and double up with a pill. Like, I'm sure people that
Girl, I've
I'm
done
like,
it. I don't
right,
think
like,
you're
oh
supposed to
shoot,
do that, but
I missed
.
Thursday and Friday, and I mean Thursday and Wednesday. So on Friday I gotta take three of them. So maybe I would like
Okay.
do Thursday in the morning, the Wednesday at 12 p.m., and then Friday at night. So it wasn't at the
Because that
same
makes so
time.
much
Like,
sense.
like, it was a hot mess. And thinking back, like, my body felt crazy. Like, I would get headaches.
Hmm.
It just felt really crazy. And it's like, now understanding what um that pill was actually doing to my body, I'm like, dang, I was just putting it even more out of balance,
Yep.
because
Yep.
our body is like our body is so powerful in the sense that it's always in the process of working to be its optimal self. So if you want to say it's always healing, or it's, I don't like to say that it's always healing itself, because then it makes it seem like you're at a deficit, because
Hmm.
everything is mindset. So I'll say our body is always working to be as optimal as it can be. So
Right.
that's how strong it is. Like, it heals itself, period. You know what I'm saying? So that's really cool. So fast forward to when I was 20, I was probably 27, 2019. Yeah, maybe 27, turning 28, maybe 26. But I started researching myself and my children's dad. We started researching different people in the plant-based, like, community. Like, Dr. Sebi kept coming up, so we were looking up Dr.
Hmm.
Sebi stuff, and we were like, oh my gosh, this stuff makes so much sense. And I was pregnant at the time, which is really the why and the fire behind me transitioning my life to a plant-based lifestyle, because of the pregnancy, because I didn't want my children, my offspring, the future generations, to go through what I went through, now understanding some of the knowledge that I was hearing from Dr. Sebi and other, like, people who were, medical doctors or influencers in the plant-based world. So I put myself, well, we put ourselves through school and literally was educating. Along with that, in that process of being pregnant, not only did I transition to being completely plant based at like 19 weeks, I also wanted to do like a home birth, and I just, I'm so, like, I've always been the person who's been like, I don't need to go to the doctor. I don't need to take that medicine, because I just know how I felt. So, like, I didn't,
Hmm.
and then, like, as like in my research, I was just, I just had different, like, revelations about, like, how I want the future to go. Like, I'm the generational curse breaker. So I
Right.
went through it, so the future generations don't have to go through it, because now we're informed consumers, we're informed buyers,
Hmm.
of whatever system we're buying into. So I wasn't buying into the traditional system of going to the hospital, having somebody tell me when I had to push, and all of that craziness that goes on at hospital births. And I know some people, they have to do hospital births. So I'm not knocking any choice. I'm just saying, for me personally, I did not want to go through that. So myself and their dad, we both agreed that we can and we were capable and we were able to do a home birth. And
Right.
we took it a step further. We were like, we could do it unassistedly. So, like, we're just really
And
extreme
did.
people, and did twice.
And did twice.
Did twice. We're extremists. Like, after looking at our birth charts, we're both, like, born on full moons. Like, we're extremists. So we're full moon babies. So, like, we're, extra.
About to burst.
Yes, yes. So it just worked out. We were both on board, and it
Right.
didn't take any convincing. It didn't take any of that. We were both aligned on that. So that was beautiful. So
Mhm.
yeah, like that's really how all of this, all of this health and wellness, like this brand
Mhm.
that I am now, that's how it really came about. Like that was the story. Story was I was sick and tired of being like sick and tired, and I
Mhm.
am the generational curse breaker, and now my children don't have to, like they can start at a higher place than where I was. Because if you think about it, when you're born perfect. Like we're born perfect, as perfect as we're supposed to be. Now there are different things that go into it, like when the mother's pregnant, the different womb care and things like that, like what the mom
Right.
is putting into her body, which is something that I like to talk about as well, is like being mindful of, how that baby is actually developing. We want to feed it things that's going to help its vibration and body alignment, like
Mhm.
stay at its peak. So when it's born, it's not born with some sort of like a deficit or lack of.
Mhm.
Even to the point of, and I know stop me whenever you want,
You're good. You're
even
good.
even to the point of like cutting the cord when the baby's born, type
Yes.
of thing. Like for my children's birth, we did lotus births, meaning we did
Mhm.
not cut a cord. We let the cord fall off the children naturally.
Nice.
So that process of the blood transfer from the placenta to the baby, it was complete,
Nice.
and Mother Nature did the work of releasing the cord from the baby when it was time. So it's like allowing the transition from that spirit into
Mhm.
this now new physical form that it manifested itself into,
Mhm.
allowing that process to be as trauma free as possible. And that was the goal for both of my births, and that's the stuff that I like to talk about, to other people if they want to listen.
Nice. Nice. So, how did your education at Cornell influence your approach to health and wellness?
So when I did that certification, I was already well into my health and wellness journey. I just wanted
Okay.
to go to, a PhD and an MD for, who's been studying this stuff for, since the 70s,
Right.
so the person who runs that program is T. Colin Campbell's, and he's the one who wrote, oh my gosh, I'm losing. It's coming to me. Um, it will come to me in this interview, and I will bring it back. But
Okay.
he's very influential in a lot of the actual studies that took place with plant-based versus like consuming plant-based, plants like
Right.
whole food plants, because
Right.
that's another topic of being plant-based and actually consuming the plants, because you could be plant-based or vegan and still be unhealthy and still creating that toxic environment because you're eating only processed vegan food. You're not actually eating the plants. So that's
Right.
a whole nother topic as well. um, but yeah, we wanted to go to the people who have been doing the research, who have been doing the work, who were in the labs, who were going to the different countries, who were doing the work for well over 30 plus years in
Mhm.
this field, and see what they were talking about. You know what I'm saying? So it was beneficial for me to do that because I'm certified by one of the top people in the sciences in plant-based lifestyle, and how it correlates to disease. So
So did
it was
you
just it was just like another way to just like show the accolade of like this stuff is proven and has been
okay.
proven for well over 3 decades at this point in science.
Now, did you acquire this information just for personal, self, or was this to be able to coach people, to write something, to have a podcast on it? What was the end result for the certification?
Right. So more so the latter, because prior to the certification, I was already helping people in the community and helping them. And so at that point,
Like you were giving like consultations, or
yep,
what were you doing?
yes, yes. So I was selling sea moss and making herbal teas and
Okay.
speaking about the benefits of eating plants.
Nice.
So this certification just allowed me to see the language and the vernacular that the professionals were using to make
Nice.
sure I'm aligning to industry standards, basically, of how to communicate the different messages. So it was definitely for personal, but more so for business. Well, personal and business to me are one, because like my personal brand is my business. Like
Mhm.
that's how I operate, you know. So the businesses that I've done in the past, well, the most recent businesses I've done in this health and wellness field are were more so personal, because that's was my lifestyle. Like I like to show and educate people about the lifestyle that I've been living, because it's proven. There's other people who are living the same exact lifestyle who are having amazing results as well. So it's really just like sharing the knowledge, because, well, so I'm not going to go too far deep into numerology, but I'm a life path 7, and life path
Me too.
sevens, and so is Goddess of Divine, and life path 7s are here to learn and educate. Like we're literally here to gather different information, and what
Mhm.
information the collective needs to hear. We're here,
Mhm.
like we're literally, our path is to spread it to the world. No matter how it comes out, it could come out in the form like a podcast, it could
Yep.
come out in books. So like from me, it's come out in different YouTube videos, it's come out in different forms like this and podcasts, it's come out in books. I've written at this point like 3 different books now,
Okay.
and more to come. It's come out in websites. I created an app before it came out in that. It's not active anymore, but still, I created an app to like showcase this information. It's come out in many different forms, different marketing, just talking to people on the street. So that's the Life Path Seven's goal, is to be able to share the knowledge. So luckily, me and Goddess of Divine and we share knowledge that's, helpful.
Bet.
Because yeah, so but anyways, because I could digress. Anyways, yeah. So to answer your original question, it was for business and personal, which is all one.
And you said that you also wrote a few books or co-authored a few
Yes.
books.
Yes. So when I was selling CMOS, we wrote, and yes, I co-authored 2 of the books, and one of the books I wrote myself. So the 2 books I
Nice.
co-authored with the previous health and wellness company that I was working with and helped to build, that's Vegan Fiber. Um, the books are Why Dairy is Scary, which is really talking about ditching dairy. Because one thing that we found just in our like every day of talking to different people, like we've talked to so many different people, and
Mhm.
a lot of the common statements was, yes, I can eat more plants, but I can't give up that dairy, or how do I replace the
That
dairy?
cheese,
that
man. That was
cheese
the
that
hardest
cheese is
thing for me.
addictive. Yes, and
Let
like
me so
dairy.
sad.
Exactly. Dairy, cheese, all that. It has the same, like it attaches to the same receptors in your brain that heroin
Mm.
does. So it
Oh wow.
makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense why it's addictive. Like you
Mm.
see what happens with people who start heroin. It's hard to come off, you know? So
Right.
it's attached to the same type of receptors in your brain. So it makes sense why we are heavily addicted to cheese and dairy. And also, within our government here in the United States, all public schools
Mandatory.
it's mandatory for all public schools to have dairy milk in the
Yep.
school.
I
So
actually had to take my son because I don't. My kids, they don't. My sons, they don't drink dairy like milk based or cow based milk. We drink plant based milk, and I had to take my youngest, oh well, both of them, to the doctor just to get a doctor's note, just so they can get a substituted type of milk to give to my sons because it's like embedded that they get that dairy. And then dairy is snuck into so many different things and products, like
mhm,
you wouldn't even think it would have dairy in it, and it contains dairy. So it's
exactly.
definitely like a sneaky thing that's thrown into everything that's just so unhealthy.
Exactly. It's literally one big system. The healthcare system is a business. Dairy, the dairy business is integrated into the government, from a financial standpoint. So
Yep.
it makes sense, and then even with dairy, so, there's so many different names for it. So even Like whey protein is a form of dairy. There's so many
Mm-hmm.
different names for dairy. So that the purpose of that book was to really, so all of the things that we found in this dairy industry that was facts, we wanted to just put it into one concise, simple to read, understand book,
Mm-hmm.
that people could be like, okay, because we did the research. And obviously, like, I'm not saying I did all of the research where this is the Bible of you, what you need to follow. No, this is a guide for you. This is a guide for you to take and run with. So maybe this book may inspire you or somebody else to go write a movie about why dairy is scary. Or, you know what I'm saying? It's like we're all here, like, as a collective. Like, we're here to work together. So any way that I can contribute to the collective's well-being is what I'm here to do. So all of the books that I wrote was really a knowledge transfer, because at one point I was just getting tired of saying the same thing over and over again. And it was just like,
Mm-hmm.
just get the book. So the other book, like, right, just read this so you can have a baseline understanding of what we're talking about. It's just like
Right.
school and college. Like, you can't go to AP calculus if you don't understand the basis of calculus, like
Right.
regular calculus. you know like, don't talk to me until you understand this baseline. But it's not even don't talk to me, it's have you done your own research and your
Right.
own reading, or do I need to spoon feed you? Because this mission, like, I'm not here to spoon feed people. I'm here to spread the message. And if you catch it, you catch it. If you don't, maybe come back and listen to it again.
Right.
Like, I can't, like, I don't have time to drag people, and same with
Mm-hmm.
you. We don't have time to drag people. We're
Mm-hmm.
here, we're spreading our knowledge in a way that it's accessible to people. And,
Exactly.
just hop on a train. So the other
Exactly.
book written, because I was heavily into selling sea moss and making sea moss gel and incorporating sea moss into, like, my lifestyle, from consumption to body care to hair care, everything.
Mm-hmm.
We wrote a book on sea moss and just understanding sea moss, because at that time sea moss was such a hot topic. It's still kind of a hot topic
Mm-hmm.
now.
Kind of.
It's
Yeah.
still it's still a hot topic now, but, like, especially during, when the pandemic really hit
Yes.
in
Yes.
2020,
Yes.
like, the seamless people
Everybody
were
was on
coming
it.
out, like,
Yeah. Out the woodwork.
out the woodworks with some seamless. So I was one of them people that came out going, y'all
Yep.
better get your CBUS, because
Okay.
it's helped me throughout this pregnancy, because we started taking CBUS prior to the pandemic. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like we were already
Mm-hmm.
in the mindset of, like, oh, this stuff is great. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? And then,
Yep.
even coming from a Caribbean background, like, back, like, like, Caribbeans used to make this drink called, like, the sea moss drink, but they would put, like, the milk and the sugar and, like,
Yep.
all the things in it. So, like,
Mm-hmm.
yes, you had the sea moss in it, but you also had the milk
Everything
and
else.
the sugar and the
Yep.
processed sugar. Like, we're
Right.
not sucking on sugar canes. We got the processed white sugar in there. We got our condensed milk in there. And, you got something that tastes good, but it's like,
Yep.
but there's sea moss in it, but no, like,
Right.
guys. So anyways, that book on CMOS was really just like giving another knowledge transfer of, like, okay, literally I've been selling CMOS for the past couple of years. I've used CMOS for XYZ, but I've literally, like, helped thousands of people in their CMOS journey.
Nice.
So this is how you make this. And I was selling CMOS gel, and it's funny because when we were selling the CMOS gel, literally everyone who had our gel, they were like, you guys have the best gel, you have the best, but it's so simple to make. It's a very simple process. So, like,
Mm-hmm.
literally, I transfer that knowledge of how to make that same seamless gel that I was selling to all these people, and people were buying,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how I started that business of, like, health and wellness. I put that same recipe in the book, like,
Yep.
literally the knowledge transfer. I'm not a gatekeeper to the
No.
information. Like, no, I'm
No.
taking it and spreading it out because there's more information for me to learn. I
Right.
can't keep, right,
Exactly.
like, we can't just keep it in our heads, because we're a collective. We're here to work together. Like, this is all energy. This is all energy
Mm-hmm.
transfer. Currency is energy. Everything's energy. So that's how I'm able to continue on in this journey and spread the knowledge, is like through the books, and now through my new website, Body Soul Vibration.
Mm-hmm.
This website is another, like, passion project of, like, me sharing knowledge of just the whole topic of body in your soul and vibration, and how the body and the soul should be in tune with itself, so you can continue to move through your particular soul's journey and reach those milestones and evolutions that you were destined to reach.
Mm,
However, because we're in such a unhealthy environment these days
mhm,
in this country, in this world, sometimes your life expectancy is cut short
mm,
because you're not properly caring for your body. So your soul then has to reincarnate and come back and finish the work that you were trying to do during this lifetime. So
mm.
instead of having to do that whole process, let's just align our body and our soul and vibrate on the same frequency so we can reach those milestones. And that's the purpose of this website. So yes, I talk about, the nutrition aspect. I gave a presentation on gut health, which is the one that you attended,
Yes,
which was
loved
awesome.
it.
And like literally everyone who attended that gut health presentation was like, oh my gosh, like it was just like what it was life changing for a lot of people. So,
It was.
so I'm still talking about the body aspect of like what you put into your body is important, what you put on top of your body, but also just the whole the holistic view of like the body and the souls and the alignment and that vibration. So like how I do sound baths for like the kids and I, weekly. If it's not like 4 times a week, it's at least 3 times a week. We go into our music room and like, hey guys, you want to do a sound bath? They're like, yeah, let's do a sound bath. So like I'll play the crystal bowls and do the sound bath, and then they have
Nice.
like their little like keyboard, and they'll be banging on the keyboard.
I'm gonna need
So,
me a sound bath session one day.
yes, yes. So like that's all coming too, but like it's a process and steps to like building out this to the vision that I'm seeing, but like like using sound healing as like a form of aligning your chakras and like your vibrations, and then like even like what you do with like Reiki healing, that's all a part of your body soul vibration. So there's a grand vision for this, so just stay tuned. But if you want to be a part of that vision, I'd suggest to just go onto the website and sign up to be on the email list, and then you'll always be the first to know what's going on. So in the
Nice.
next couple of weeks, I'll be releasing another big website feature. I'll have a membership.
Okay.
So more details will come on that. But yeah, so if you want to know more about what's coming, I just suggest to sign up for the free email list. And there's a lot more to come. So yes, yes.
So to tie in with body soul vibration, can you share some key insights or tips about improving gut health that you presented at conferences and workshops?
Yes, of course. So the cool thing about the gut is that the gut is the brain. So
Mm,
people tend to think we only have one brain, which is the
mhm.
brain that's up here. But our gut, we have two brains. We may even have more brains, but right now it's scientifically proven that we have two. The gut and the brain that's in your head. They're always in constant communication. A lot of the different like hormones and neurons are actually produced in the gut. So like 90% of the serotonin in our body is produced in our gut. 70% of our immune system is within our gut.
Mhm.
And those are two separate things. So let's talk about the serotonin. Serotonin is about like your mood, your emotions, like those neurotransmitters contribute to like your mental health, right? So it's
Mhm.
interesting that mental health starts in the gut.
Mhm.
So that all relates to what are you putting into your gut, right?
Mhm. Or what you
So
eat.
exactly, you are what you eat. So we're living in a culture now where we are literally terrorizing these animals,
Mhm.
slaughtering them. They're witnessing their family die. That same energy never dies, it just transfers. So now that energy of that animal is transferred into that product that you are consuming,
Yep.
and you are now consuming that traumatizing energy. So is
Mhm.
that helping your vibration, increase or decrease?
It would decrease.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So like you are what you eat. So for gut health, just to keep it simple, what the gut needs is fiber, and all fiber comes from plants. It's that
Mm.
simple. Dietary fiber all comes from plants. In
What
fact,
about protein as well? Is
I
that
was just about to say that. In
oh
fact, all protein comes from plants.
right.
All these different mass media vocabulary and terms that you're hearing. I need my
Mhm.
protein. I need that. It's like, just remember that a lot of this is a business. Like, in order
Mhm.
for the healthcare industry to continue to flourish, they need
Mhm.
sick people to treat.
Yep.
So just keep that in mind, everyone listening. This is a business.
Mhm.
Businesses thrive on folks who need something.
Yep.
So if
Supply
you're
and
able
demand.
to be self-sufficient and learn the principles of, even like, even taking it a step further, growing your own food, and that's stuff
Mhm.
that I'm interested in, is
Mhm.
growing our food and all that whole vision, So it's like, just be mindful of the things that you put into your body. So back to the point, all fiber comes from plants, whole food plants. Eat an apple, eat a banana, eat a mango, eat some fruit, eat fruit, eat plants, eat legumes, beans, lentils, chickpeas. Those are all considered plants as well, because it comes from the ground. If it comes from Mother Earth, Mother, Father Earth, however you want to identify the earth energy, it has natural dietary fiber. So fiber is what's needed to create a healthy gut environment, because it creates things like short chain fatty acids, and there's a whole science that goes into it. But at the end of the day, it helps to fight off the bad stuff, and it helps to increase the good stuff. So if you're always increasing the good stuff, the bad stuff will basically, like, not suffocate, but what's the word, where starve itself. It's going to starve
Mhm.
itself because you're not feeding it. So for
Right.
example, when I stopped feeding myself the dairy and the animal products, my allergies went away.
Mhm.
So can you hear that in the background?
No.
Okay, well, my allergies went away. Hopefully it dies down so we don't have to pull this. So I starved the bacteria that was feeding and prolonging these allergy symptoms that I was facing, because I starved it, because I wasn't feeding it the food that it wanted to feed on, which was the dairy from me and
Right.
the meat. So fiber feeds the gut. Fiber comes from plants, and it's that simple.
Okay. So, what is a good way to implement a um maybe like a plant-based intro into your diet? Because like for me, it took me a while to start to fully, and I'm not fully there yet, but it took me like 4 years to kind of transition into it. So I remember at the conference you spoke about colors in the on the plate or in a bowl. So can you kind of go into more detail about that?
Yes, of course. So yes, I absolutely do not expect people just to, like, hear information one day and, like, literally, like, cut off everything and start fresh, because that's not, always a reality. Sometimes people just need small bites in
Mhm.
order to eat the whole entire apple. Like, you start with one bite at a time. um, so I like to talk about easy ways to consume more plants. And that's really, like, the overall goal, is to eat more plants,
Mhm.
regardless of what that looks like in your life. Eating more whole food plants. And that includes all the colors. So, like, there's a color wheel. Like, if you search, color wheel of plants or something like that, I'm sure you'll
Mhm.
find it somewhere on the internet, because everything literally is somewhere, can be found somewhere. But anyways, eating all the colors, eating, like, your different legumes, like your lentils, like your peas, your beans, your legumes. I like to eat a lot of lentils. It's just very easy for me to eat that. With, like, being a working mom of two littles under 5, it's easy just to, like, have something, like, on the stove, or like a smoothie or whatever. So yeah. So anyways, back to the point. Um, Eating more plants. So if that's making, like, a Buddha bowl, like if you make a rice or like a quinoa, and adding, like, avocados or different, onions or peppers, or even just lettuce, like something, you can add your hemp seeds, chia seeds, you can add anything, but, like, making an assortment into a bowl, that's a cool way. One of my favorite things to do is make smoothies. Like, if I know that we didn't really eat that many colors in the day, I would definitely like to incorporate, like, a nice smoothie, like a fruit smoothie, and maybe I'll make, like, a green smoothie.
So
Um,
Why is it important for the colors specifically?
So it's important for the colors because like each color, each type of plant has certain benefits, you know. So there's different types of benefits if it's the reds or if it's the oranges or the yellows or the whites or the browns or the purples.
Mhm.
Each color is a visual representation of what that benefit can be. Like the
Nice.
oranges, like you know, carrots are good for your eyes. So the orange things are good for eyes. You know, reds and purples, they have a certain antioxidant in there that's like great for like immune health. So the different colors is just like a visual representation of what that benefit can be for you. So that can also help you tailor. So like if you know you need more strengthening in your eye health, okay, maybe eat more oranges. Like not oranges, but like orange colored
Color thing,
plants. Yeah, colored
plants.
things.
Yes.
Exactly. And also, so with that gut health presentation that we're referring to, I
Mm-hmm.
do have that whole presentation on my website. So if you go to my website,
Nice.
and it's a blog post. It's called, I think it's just called like the Thriving Gut Presentation,
Okay.
with Shayna Maude, and I have the entire presentation that we're referring to there, so you could like study that as well. But yeah, so easy ways, smoothies, you know, bowls, just eating the fruit. So like even with like children, um, I tend to carry like bananas with us a lot. Sometimes I'll carry like cut up apples a lot because
Excuse
those are
me.
the fruits that they like. Now, obviously, you need to tailor it to what your child likes or needs.
Mm-hmm.
But luckily for me, mine grew up eating the fruits and vegetables, so it's not much convincing. They may be tired of one. So like right now, for example, if I suggest an orange to my 4-year-old, she's like, I don't want an orange, but she used to love oranges. So it's like
Right.
they may get tired of it. So you have to just introduce certain things. But yeah, just like trying to eat as much whole food as possible. But obviously, in this busy world, it's hard to consume as many, you know, fruits and vegetables that we're really supposed to be consuming.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I like to have smoothies because you're literally putting everything into, you know, one conglomerate, and you could drink it or you could make it thicker and eat it as an ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because like the the facts are for this country specifically for America, this country is fiber deficient. So, and that really is just telling us that we're not eating enough fruits and vegetables and plants. So I think on average, folks are getting about 15 grams of fiber per day, but the recommended from, you know, the USDA is about 25 to 30 grams. However, our ancestors were like we come from people who were eating well over 100 grams of fiber per day. So like even the recommendation is like a very low standard. It's not even a high standard. It's a very low standard. So I
Mm-hmm.
like to like aim for at least, and like I'm not over here measuring how many grams of fiber I'm eating. I'm just talking numbers for people who like to see the numbers, because there are people who like to measure their chicken to see how much protein they're getting, you know. Like I'm
Right.
not that person. I'm just like, as long as I'm eating the plants, I know my
Right.
body is
Yes.
working to optimally function itself, you know. um but yeah, so like even like a standard of, you know, aiming for 50 grams of fiber per day is a great amount to where you will see a positive change in your daily, if you keep, you know, keep up with that.
Okay.
um yeah, so smoothies are my go-to, and then some sort of a bowl, even like how I was mentioning, like the soups, like even like a sweet potato. Like a sweet potato, you could just you literally just clean it off and you could throw it in the oven for a good hour at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And at the end of it, it'll be soft and you can eat it. And like
Right.
you didn't do anything to prepare. It already tastes amazing without even adding anything. You know, if you're someone who like needs to multitask to do things all at one time, you know, even with like the lentil soups, after you season your water or whatever base you're using, like a vegetable broth, I just use water. It's just easier for me just to use water, like
Mm-hmm.
spring water. Once you season it and you clean your lentils off and add it into the pot, like you could go back every 15 minutes to stir it to make sure it's not like burning on the bottom or something. But like, you don't have to slave over a stove. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, these are all meals that I've been using like every single day, like to the point where I'm at a point where I need to get more creative now in the delivery of these meals with these kids, with these littles, because um some of the meals they're just like, we're doing that again.
Oh, recently. And that was literally, and I mean, we'll have to have a deeper side conversation about this, but I literally was thinking the same thing. So, I used my best friend ChatGPT, and
Mhm.
and
Yep.
I researched Caribbean inspired plant based because I really want to like tap into my Caribbean heritage and throw it into my food. And I got so many great, like, quick Caribbean inspired plant based recipes that I will share with you, um, for just to eat, and to enjoy.
Mhm.
And it was really simple because a lot of Caribbean food is plant focused or like veggie
Yes, it
focused,
is.
or
Hmm.
or what they would call an idol plate.
Yes,
Um,
the
I
I tell
tell
plate.
plate.
Yes.
So, so yeah, but I was feeling the same way because I definitely do the same, like, even just cooking when I was cooking, with meats, it's spaghetti or Alfredo or this or that, the same things over and over again. Even though my sons love to eat it, I mean, they can have spaghetti every day; they wouldn't care. I
Hmm.
get tired of cooking that specific
Right.
meal or whatever. So that's definitely something I was thinking about too, finding
Hmm.
different ways to incorporate plant-based meals into our lifestyle. But
Yep, and that's also going to be within the membership on
nice.
Body Soul Vibration. So this specific membership that I'm launching will have a repository of recipes, the green
Mhm.
smoothie course that I created previously that will be in this as well as a part of the membership. So you
Nice.
have access to it as long as you're a member to that particular subscription, and like a repository of recipes that's always growing. So
Nice.
just to give people a way, like sometimes people don't want. I know a lot of people, like, even though for us ChatGTP is easy, like, oh, hey, Chatty, can you help me
Right.
create a workout because I don't know how to work up my glutes, like
Right.
something like that,
Right.
like, and she will deliver, like, okay, girl, this is what you got
Every
to do.
time.
Every time she delivers. Some people, I'm in another cohort, like a mentorship with
Mhm.
folks from older generations who are just like just not understanding of how certain things work with the technology, which makes sense because I
Right.
my like I have family members who were like that, so it makes sense. But
Mhm.
where and we grew up in the era of like being a part of the technology as it was evolving, so it was easier for
Right.
us to catch on.
Yep. Yep.
Anyway, so um, that particular membership will just be like a one-stop shop for
Nice.
all those recipes and like incorporating easy ways to incorporate more plants, like the green smoothie method, which is also just like another way of just like talking about smoothies, but it
Yeah.
specifically says green smoothies, but you can literally make any smoothie, and you're incorporating
Mhm.
more plants. um but yeah,
So,
so
when visitors go to your website, what else can they expect there? Because I know you talked a little bit about having your workshop on there for the Thriving Gut. Now you're talking about this membership that's going to begin soon. What else can we find on your website?
So I did just recently write a poetry book just because I wanted to write a book, but it's like an ode to yourself. It's called The Symphony of Self, and it's
Mm.
really just like it's like a guide. It's like something that you could use to meditate with. Sometimes I like use it like how I may use like tarot cards or just like cards, and I like flip
Mhm.
to a page and see if that's a message that the spirit wants me to internalize. Um,
Nice.
in that book, so you could literally use it as you want, but it's just like an ode to yourself of remembering the importance of that alignment of your body and your soul and the
Mhm.
purpose and like your soul's journey. So it's an assortment of I think about 20 or 21 poems in there. And each poem has a message from me specifically about that poem before the poem starts. So that's on my website as well. I do have some apparel. I made a few shirts.
Nice.
Yeah, I have like, I am I am Dvyne is on there, or no, Divine Goddess is on there. Um, I am love because
Hmm.
I believe that we are here as a collective to help to spread the love and spread
Hmm.
those like higher vibrations. So it's just like a daily reminder. Like I'm very much into mindset and mantras.
Love
So
that.
and that all and that all ties into like the whole brand as well. Like
Hmm.
mindset is the most important thing because in order for anything to happen, you need to believe it. You need to speak it. You need to like internalize it because the power of the subconscious and the power of the subconscious is huge. Your subconscious does not know what's right or what's wrong and knows what you tell it. So it's like we may use like 10% of our, hold on, I wrote this down earlier. Okay, cool, here it goes, I wrote this down earlier. So it's like our conscious mind represents 10% of what's possible, right? But our subconscious mind represents 90% of what's possible. So if you continue to program your subconscious to be the things that you aspire and that you want and that you demand for yourself and for your life, that's what's going to happen. So like I'm really big into mindset, which
Love
is
it.
why I wanted to incorporate that in like apparel. So it's like, so even like wearing it, you're
Hmm.
programming your energy and yourself to say, yes, I am love, and then
Right.
like when you're walking around and people see your shirt, you're like, oh, okay. So it's helping the collective's vibration raise little by little as
Love
they're,
it.
as they
Each
come
one teach one.
into, yeah, exactly, as they come into contact with it. So I'm definitely
Nice.
going to be designing more, like mindset type of apparel and things like that. I also have like, teacups, just like small things because
Hmm.
I like to drink herbal teas. I actually have a blog post on the different types of herbal teas and the benefits of certain herbs for that tea, and like how I actually make the tea. So yeah, just like different things like that. So there's a lot more to come as I progress, but I'm not like stressing myself over like, oh, this needs to be done at this time, that time. Like it's all going to play out and work as it grows. And
Hmm.
as long as I'm putting the work and the action into it, everything will like flow out how it should. So,
Nice.
bite-sized information. But yeah, right now, today on June 4th, you can find some shirts, some apparel, you can find a teacup, you can find some blog posts on how to make some tea, about gut
Nice.
health, about me, and you can find a book.
Awesome.
Hmm.
Awesome. Wow. Okay. So I'm asked this question and then I'm asked a second question, but they're kind of like the same question, but it's not because anyway. So, what is one message you hope listeners take away from your story and your work? And then the second question is, can you grace us with one of your favorite affirmations that you say to yourself or to your littles daily, or what just kind of helps you along? So, the first question is, what is one message you hope listeners take away from your story and your work in this episode today?
One message is that you are powerful. You are literally here to be on your own journey. You're here to evolve in the way that your soul was manifested itself to be on this earth physically to evolve into. Um, and but the message with that is that just be mindful of how you are treating yourself, from what you're
Mm,
putting into your body, what you're putting into your subconscious, like I said, because 90% of it is your subconscious. So
mhm.
just be mindful of what you're consuming, being a conscious consumer. Now, I'm not saying you need to like be very strict on yourself and hard on yourself and like
Do
feel
it with
bad for yourself. Like absolutely not. Like you don't like we don't speak like that. Like
mm-mm.
absolutely not. What it is just being mindful of of the things, so you can start working towards whatever this version of yourself that you are striving to be, because we're all different.
Nice.
So that's a message. And then um, let's see, what affirmation. Well, right now I'm in my energy of attracting financial wealth and abundance, and building
Okay.
and growing my wealth and my assets, and working on different strategic methods that I'm implementing currently to this day on
Okay.
building my wealth. So some of the current affirmations, because the affirmations change for the energy, but this
Thank
current
you.
energy is, especially with this new moon coming out, new
Mm-hmm.
moon is new money.
Yes.
But yeah, so with this current energy right now, let's see an affirmation. Okay, so I'll just spit off a few of them. I am enough. Let's do it again. I am enough. I am getting better and better each day. I am strong. I am intelligent. I am wise. I am attracting the good fortune from the many seeds that I've planted on the journey. And
Mm-hmm.
I am worthy of all of the abundance that has already been given to me and that is on its way. I expect to reach all of these goals at X amount of time, because you also need to be specific with these affirmations. Give it timelines, give it specifics, like put in all those things. You know what I'm
You're
saying?
such a teacher. I love it.
Yes, life have seven. I'm so happy. I'm living in my soul's purpose. Yes, thank
Yes.
you. Um, and I am aligned. I am in tune, and I am strong.
I love that. I love that. Well, thank you so much, Miss Shayna Maude, for coming on the show today and just telling us about your beautiful, beautiful story and your journey and your life path of teaching and sharing and experiencing and being. Has been very informational and very insightful. And I'm just so happy that you decided to come sit with me today.
Thank you so much. I'm really happy that we were able to do this, because it was definitely needed. And it's
Yeah.
funny because I was like, shoot, I like this may be the start of, you know, who knows what.
No.
This could be a reoccurring,
Yes,
series. Who knows?
absolutely.
Who knows?
Absolutely. This is
But yeah,
not, this is the first of many.
the
Let's
first
just
minute.
put it at that. This is the first of many for sure.
Yes, because
And
our brands are in sync, period.
mhm,
They really
absolutely.
are.
Absolutely.
They really are.
Absolutely.
But
So,
yes, thank you so much. I'm really honored to be here on this platform with you.
thank you.
And I hope everyone who's listening here has also listened to the other podcast episodes.
Yeah.
Goddess L Divine has graciously given her currency, her energy, her time into this.
Hmm.
She is also a Life Path 7, so she is a
Fine.
student teacher as well. The student will become the teacher, and she is teaching y'all every day
Yes,
as much
I
as she
am.
can. So, so thank you so much as well for allowing me to come onto your platform and spread the message. And I look forward to future, uh, you know, engagements.
Yes. That was so smooth. I love that.
Thanks.
Loved
Some
it.
people call me a smooth talker. I'm like, oh, am
Okay.
I? I'll take it.
Alrighty, listeners, I just want to say thank you for sitting with us again today. Um, as always, I'm sending y'all love, light, and peace. Stay blessed, my people.